I'm John Bowden from Rock History Music, and more of our conversation with one of my favorite producers of all time, Bill Szymczyk. Well, it's a well-known fact that there was always friction in the Eagles, but I don't know. Looking back at it now, there's a part of me that says maybe that was part of the magic. The competition, the friction. We all know what happened with Fleetwood Mac and Rumors, so a lot of that probably happened with the Eagles as well. In this clip, Bill Szymczyk talks about the two different camps in the Eagles that were fighting for their right not to party but to get heard, I'd say. He also talks about Eagles sequencing, album sequencing, the order of the songs, which I love, as you'll hear in this clip. And the first question that Don Henley asked him after Bill Szymczyk took over on the border for Glenn Johns. We also talk about the drum sound, his favorite JBL speakers, and a lot more. On Rock History Music, before we get to it, people have been asking me, do you talk about Joe Walsh in this series with Bill? We do. Do we talk about him producing Against the Wind with Bob Seger? Yes. That's coming up in the next few days. Bill Szymczyk, Rock History Music. What was the difference in the atmosphere between, for instance, Hotel California and The Long Run? I know that there was a change in Randy was gone and Timothy was there. Were the band getting tired? What was your sense of these guys you were working with?
It seemed to be there were two camps. There was the Don and Glenn camp, and then there was the guitar camp. And Timothy was kind of caught in the middle because he was the new guy. I mean, back in Hotel California, one of these nights in Hotel California, there would be they'd stay in one house in Miami when we recorded Miami. And when we got to The Long Run, they had to have two houses. So Glenn and Don's are in one, and Felder and Walsh and Timothy are in the other. And then up until then, they'd always have a couple of cars. Now everybody had to have their own car. I don't want to ride with him. Oh, okay.
I love sequencing on albums. I just love sequencing. I love paying attention to that.
That's my favorite thing to do.
Really? Were you involved in that?
Oh, always. I sequenced almost all the Eagle records. I would cut little pieces of paper out. I would cut every song title had a little strip about like yay, and I'd be moving them around, that would work into going in, that would work going over there, and that was my specialty.
I'm so glad you told me that. I love the sequencing on one of these nights in Hotel California. So because I don't know why I hyper focused on that as a kid. Because I mean, I'm a mood guy, right? As a broadcaster, that's why I did so well when I left rock and roll and did new age. I'd have to make sure, because especially new age music, you can't break the mood or else you'll switch the channel.
Right.
Yet I would hills and valleys, baby.
That's right. Well, that's the same thing. When I would program or sequence, it'd always be, okay, I need these four things first. The first song on side one and the last song on side one, first song on side two, last, and the closer. And once you get those four, then you fill the rest of them in. Well, I got two rockers in a row, I need a ballad, yada da.
So that's the formula.
Yeah. And it pissed me off when the CDs came in. It was like, oh, wait a minute, there's no one, side two, damn it.
Yeah. When you talk to Don about the drum sound going from Glenn to you, and he would ask you about the mics, and because he worked with 3 or something, right? And you worked with like about 8.
Yeah, exactly. That was the first question he asked me in our very first meeting when they were interviewing me, and in reverse, I was interviewing them too, because I didn't want to do cowboy band. Obviously, if you want to rock and you're sincere, then I'm in. And that was Don's first question was, how many mics you going to put on the drum? I said probably 7 or 8. And yeah, Glenn Johns was notorious for 3 foot and 2 overheads. That's it.
People through the years, I know that guitar players, you said, taught you a lot, but there is a way you mic the drums like nobody's business, man. One of the reasons I love Don Henley is like, hey, I could do it. I could play that stuff. Mm-hmm. But also I could hear that stuff like nothing, like Gus Dudgeon used to do that with Nigel Olsson, and Roger Pope, but mostly with Nigel, I could really, and Nigel, like Don, was a king of less is more. There was no crazy fills in there.
Right.
Have people talked to you about that through the years, about you miking drums so well?
Everybody, they've seemed to like my drum sound through the years. Yeah. And I've been very proud of it.
JBL 4210s.
4311s.
4311. Sorry.
4311s.
So what was it about those speakers? They sounded like someone would at home?
I could put them near field, fairly close, and I could make them fairly loud, but it wasn't like ear splitting, like, giant Westlake monitors that built in. And it just became something that I could go. That was when I was working at like 10 different studios around the country. And I just wanted I wanted to have the same speakers in every room that I worked in. So I just went with those two, which I liked.
We're going to have a lot more from Bill Szymczyk coming up tomorrow. Every day for the next about a week and a half, we'll have a different clip from Bill. If you're a Patreon member, you'll have access to all the clips early. There'll be links in the description where you can join our Patreon. If you want to support the channel in other ways, there are links there as well. You can make a PayPal donation. But really, like our videos, share our videos, comment on them, subscribe to the channel, spread the word for us. We'd appreciate that. I'm John Bowden. This is Rock History Music.